My YouTube channel isn't what you think, by the way, so let me explain why I do YouTube and the link I see between Harry Styles and Cal Newport, who's written books like So Good They Can't Ignore You. I started Bear Meets Life, and there's two ways to pitch it as a YouTube channel. So on the one hand, I colour in these pictures in real time. You can do the same thing at the same time as me. You can just hang out, do something else relaxing. It's designed to be a way to cope with autistic burnout and sensory overload, or it's just there if you want to relax with some art, some very chill music, not a great deal of narration. Even if you don't colour along with me, it's just meant to be like a really nice chill space, right? On the other hand, you could just say, is this channel where I colour in pictures of Harry Styles' face? That's not how I thought I'd be spending my free time, especially if I have a mental block that won't let me call myself a fan, as previously explained. And something about that seems humorous to me. I don't know that he'd find it funny unless he has a surreal sense of humour. My sense of humour is that I do kind of want to see him colouring pictures of his own face in. I bet Liam would be up for that on his YouTube channel. Put in your requests. So perhaps Harry... So now I'm imagining that he has like a painter's studio where he just paints portraits of himself all the time in his spare time. Like I said previous, I try not to delve too deeply into any part of his life that isn't work related and meant for public consumption. So I haven't looked through his windows to see what he's up to, and you shouldn't either. Back up, people. But consider this. So the author and professor Cal Newport sent an email to his mailing list recently. If you haven't already, read Deep Work, read Be So Good They Can't Ignore You. Read all his books, so you can listen or read to a bunch of stuff for free via things like free trials of Amazon's Audible or Kindle Unlimited, or even Prime, which gives you access to the Kindle Owner's Library. Libraries are a thing. You have no excuse not to broaden your mind. Did you know that libraries let you borrow ebooks? You don't even have to go to the library. So Cal's partly the reason I got a first at university, despite being autistic, or perhaps because I am autistic. And his writing over the years has improved my life. So what do Cal Newport, a computer science professor and best-selling author of books on career and academic success, and Harry Styles have in common? So Cal Newport wrote this blog post that also went out in an email from October 27th in 2020. It's called The Stone Carver in an Age of Computer Screens. You're consuming this from a screen right now. That's not necessarily bad. Social media isn't automatically bad, we're just using it wrong. Funnily enough, he writes about that a lot too. But back to what he wrote on this occasion. He says, a reader recently pointed me towards a short video titled A Continuous Shape. It profiles Anna Rubenkamp, a stone carver from South London who works alone out of a utilitarian studio, sliding doors open to a tree-lined patio. The video follows Rubenkamp's efforts over 3 weeks to produce a stone carving of a young woman's head. It starts with her taking measurements from a live model. These are then translated into a clay figure and subsequently engraved, one precise chisel hit after another, into a solid chunk of stone. The reader who sent me the video titled his message, Epitome of Deep Work. I think he's onto something. When you watch Rubenkamp in action, it's hard not to feel an intimation of wistfulness, something about her efforts in which she stands alone in a minimalist chamber, and hour after hour, with hard-won skill, manifests cognitive abstractions into concrete reality, seems about right. I think the reason portrayals of physical craft are instinctually compelling is that they present a conception of work that closely aligns with our species' wiring. Part of what separated us from our primate ancestors is our ability to understand the world symbolically, allowing us to make an abstract plan that we then translate into something real. We're rewarded for this final step with a sense of satisfaction, and punished for its absence with a sense of anxious hollowness. When contemplating these realities, I can't help but wonder about the psychic toll of replacing the simplicity of such craft with email and Zoom and half-hearted PowerPoint. As I elaborate in digital minimalism, a brain forged in the Paleolithic doesn't fully understand the digital and is easily overwhelmed by a notion of work defined by constant, unstructured, unceasing electronic pings and dings. Late in the video, Rubenkamp looks to camera and explains, once you've created something, it takes up a physical space in the world, and it has a permanence that will hopefully outlast you. Here's to hoping that as the world of work evolves beyond its tactile foundation, we can find a way to extract similar levels of calm human contentment from our daily efforts. So that's the email/blog post, and that, my fellow bears, is why I colour in pictures of Harry Styles in my spare time. If you would like to use social media as a force of good, consider subscribing to either of the YouTube channels. The mission with Bear Meets Life is to improve the mental health of people with autism and neurotypicals, and possibly get you to a Harry Styles concert one day if that would make you happy. And the mission with Save Like a Bear is that no one will live in debt or poverty, and that if you want to go to a Harry Styles concert or 2 or more, you can afford to do that as well, if that's in your priorities. If you need to buy food first, I hope that's what it helps with. Failing that, share them with someone you think they might help. So if I'm not solving a problem for you, is there someone in your life who might benefit? Treat them as kindness, as Harry would say. Call yourself a fan of Harry if you want to let others know where you stand, and if you've either got the energy to defend that or you lack the ego to want to defend it in the first place. And we'll reconvene sooner rather than later. After all, if you stand for nothing, you fall for nothing. Remember, the writer Kate Lever says, "I pledge to stand by my fandom for the rest of my life, because it's about supporting someone who writes killer lyrics, but also endorses kindness. It's about believing in something and someone and myself." Her words, not mine, but I can't sum it up any better than that. Don't forget to subscribe, and have a fabulous life in the meantime. Go forth!